If you've been searching for how to grow tomatoes in Florida, here's the truth most guides leave out. Zone 9 doesn't follow normal tomato rules. If you plant in spring, your plants collapse in our heat and humidity. Today I'll show you the real timing and real varieties that actually thrive here. Why northern tomato advice fails in Florida. Most gardening advice assumes you live somewhere with cool summers and gentle transitions between the seasons. That's why so many people here get frustrated. They follow the same guidance used up north, plant in spring, and then watch their tomatoes stall, scorch, or get wiped out by disease. Florida's climate simply doesn't support that traditional schedule. In fact, the tomato growing season in Central Florida barely resembles what you see in the rest of the country. Our summers aren't just warm, they're relentless. Once daytime highs push into the upper 80s and stay there, tomato plants shift into survival mode. They stop setting fruit, blossoms drop, and the pollen becomes too sticky to function properly. Even healthy plants start to look exhausted. Combine that with thick humidity, sudden downpours, and fast-spreading fungal spores, and you get a perfect storm that crushes tomatoes planted at the wrong time. Many gardeners don't realize that most tomato varieties simply aren't built for this environment. The plants can survive the heat, but they can't produce reliably in it. So, while northern growers brag about their summer harvests, Florida gardeners are wondering why they're getting yellowing leaves, cracked fruit, or entire plants collapsing seemingly overnight. None of this means you're doing anything wrong. It means the timing itself is wrong. Florida rewards those who adapt to its rhythm. Once you stop forcing tomatoes into the summer window and start working with the cooler seasons instead, everything gets easier. Diseases slow down, fruit set improves dramatically, and your plants stay healthier for far longer. This is why learning Florida's unique timing is the foundation for every other tomato growing success in Zone 9. When you flip the calendar, you flip the results. Florida's backwards. Tomato season. Once you understand how our weather works, the entire tomato calendar flips upside down. In most of the country, gardeners start their tomatoes right after the last frost and harvest through summer. But here, that same approach is a disaster waiting to happen. The secret to growing tomato plants in Florida is realizing that our season runs backward, fall through spring instead of spring through fall. In Central and South Florida, the best time to plant is when everyone else is wrapping up for the year. Late August through September is ideal for a fall crop, and you can start again in late January or early February for a spring harvest. That means you're enjoying ripe fruit in December or April, while your northern counterparts are still shoveling snow. Once the calendar flips to June, though, it's game over. The heat ramps up. The humidity spikes, and even the most resilient tomato varieties begin to struggle. By working with this reversed schedule, you give your plants the gentle warmth and sunlight they actually need to thrive. Cooler nights help blossoms set properly. Pollination stays consistent, and fruit matures without the constant stress of 90-degree days. Your plants last longer. Your harvests are heavier, and diseases become far easier to manage. Another major benefit is that you can grow multiple waves of tomatoes each year if you plan right. One in fall, another in spring. Start your seedlings under shade cloths or grow lights about 6 weeks before transplanting. And by the time your neighbors are fighting heat stroke, you'll be gathering flawless red fruit from happy, productive vines. Once you grasp Florida's offbeat rhythm, tomatoes stop being a constant battle and start becoming a dependable part of your garden routine. In Zone 9, success isn't about forcing plants to behave like they do up north. It's about timing them with precision and letting the climate work for you instead of against you. Varieties that handle Florida better. Timing is everything, but choosing the right varieties takes your harvest from decent to spectacular. The best tomato varieties for Florida aren't necessarily the ones you see in seed catalogs up north. They're bred or proven to survive our humidity, heat, and endless disease pressure. Even within Zone 9, conditions swing from coastal dampness to sandy inland dryness, so your variety choice makes all the difference. If you want reliability, start with Florida 91. It's designed for this state, resistant to fusarium and verticillium wilts, gray leaf spot, and alternaria. It holds up beautifully through the mild winter months and keeps producing when lesser plants would quit. Better Boy and Celebrity are two more rock-solid options recommended by Florida Extension agents. They combine classic flavor with sturdy plants that don't collapse at the first sign of trouble. For those who like a little challenge, Amelia brings exceptional disease resistance, including nematodes, which are a nightmare in sandy soils. And if you just can't resist trying to outsmart the summer heat, there are heat-tolerant types like Heatwave 2, Heatmaster, and Sweet 100. They'll set fruit in conditions that stop most tomatoes cold, though even they appreciate a bit of afternoon shade once the mercury climbs. Heirloom lovers aren't left out either. Cherokee Purple, Green Zebra, and Mortgage Lifter perform surprisingly well from fall through spring when temperatures stay reasonable. They offer richer flavor profiles and striking colors, but they're best grown during Florida's cooler months for maximum yield and minimum heartbreak. No matter which type you pick, focus on disease resistance first. Our humidity fuels fungal outbreaks faster than you can say tomato sandwich, and a single rainy week can turn a healthy plant into a wilted mess. Look for those magic letters V, F, and N on the seed packet, signaling resistance to verticillium, fusarium, and nematodes. With the right combination of timing and genetics, Florida tomatoes can rival any backyard harvest in the country. Once your spring tomatoes finish and the heat rolls in, don't fight it, switch gears. Summer in Zone 9 is brutal on tomato plants, but it's perfect for other crops that actually love the conditions. When you know what thrives during our steamy season, your garden never needs to sit empty. In fact, some of the best vegetables for Florida summer are the same ones that keep southern homesteads productive year-round. Start with okra, the undisputed champion of heat tolerance. It laughs at 90-degree afternoons and keeps producing pods until fall. Eggplant is another heavyweight, sturdy, glossy, and eager to bear fruit even when the soil feels like a skillet. If you prefer something sprawling, sweet potatoes turn the hottest months into your easiest growing season, filling beds with vines while developing plump tubers underneath. Southern peas, also known as black-eyed peas or cowpeas, are another essential. They enrich the soil with nitrogen, suppress weeds, and deliver reliable harvests when other plants wilt. You can even sneak in a late crop of Malabar spinach, a heat-loving green that climbs like a vine and tastes similar to mild spinach when cooked. The beauty of this strategy is that you're never wasting time or space. Instead of watching tomatoes struggle through disease and heat stress, you're letting your garden rest and rebuild with crops designed for the climate. By mid-August, as these heat-tolerant vegetables wind down, it's time to start your tomato seedlings again for the fall. The cycle continues, and every year your timing gets sharper. Florida's rhythm may feel backward at first, but once you learn it, you can garden 12 months a year without burnout or failure. The key is knowing when to hand the baton from your tomatoes to your true summer champions, the plants that thrive when everything else gives up. Wrapping up Florida's tomato secrets. Now you know the real secret behind how to grow tomatoes in Florida. It's not about fancy fertilizers or endless pest sprays. It's all about timing, variety, and understanding that our seasons don't play by northern rules. Once you flip the calendar and grow from fall through spring, tomatoes stop being a gamble and start being one of the easiest crops you can grow. Remember, every part of Florida has its quirks. Central Florida sits in Zone 9, where you get the longest tomato window, while gardeners farther south in Zone 10 can often grow straight through winter. No matter where you are, focus on disease-resistant varieties. Plant early enough to dodge the first surge of summer heat and rotate your crops each year. Your soil will stay balanced, and your tomatoes will stay healthy. If this video helped you finally unlock Florida's rhythm, make sure to hit subscribe for more practical, Florida-tested growing guides. Until then, enjoy your garden, and I'll see you in the next video.